Miguel, tell me if that fixed the problem with the audio. I just changed the device to main left and right Behringer mixer. I don't know, it was on some strange number setting. So let me know if that fixed the problem in YouTube, if you could. Yes? Okay. All right, good. Yeah, I guess somehow the microphone setting got changed. I don't know how. Okay. Thank you, Miguel, for letting me know. Unfortunately, I guess the beginning of that stream might not be heard on YouTube, but at least we caught it only a few minutes into the stream. So thank you for that. Okay, and back to the questions. Let's see. Rizopus says, I need a partner for practicing, but mostly there are many people who have other intentions about the goals of learning. Okay, so very quickly, let me address this topic of how to find a good partner on HelloTalk. Finding a partner on HelloTalk is like fishing, okay? And when you go fishing, there are days when you don't catch anything. Some days you just don't catch anything. So what does that mean about HelloTalk? It means that when you go fishing, you need to use good bait. What is bait? Bait means food that you put on the hook, right? If you want to catch a fish on a hook with some line, some string, right? Some fishing line, then you need a hook that has bait on it, right? Something that the fish wants to eat. So HelloTalk is just like that. When you want someone to talk to you, you need good bait. So what does that mean? It means most of you, when you talk to other people on HelloTalk, the only thing you do is wave. You send them a wave, or you say, hi, will you teach me English? That's what most of you do, is you wave, you say hello, or you just say, hi, will you teach me English? But that's not good bait. That's not good bait, okay? The fish is not going to bite on that. All right, a person's not going to be interested in answering that. What would be good bait would be to introduce yourself in a small paragraph. Introduce yourself and tell them, I read your profile, you seem interesting. I like movies, I see you like movies too, right? Something like that. Or I see you like cooking, I like cooking too. All right? So if you introduce yourself, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm from blah, blah, blah. Very nice to meet you. I read your profile. I read your profile. I read your profile. I read your profile. And I see that you like this thing and I like this thing too. Or I see you're from here. I've always wanted to go there. Can you tell me where's your favorite place in your city? That's interesting bait. Okay, that's good bait. People will want to reply to a message like that. So first, you have to have good bait when you go fishing. Second, you have to have patience and determination. Patience because you're going to throw your line out a lot, and it's not going to have a fish on it every time. Catching a fish takes patience and time. Sometimes you throw the line out 50 times and you might get one fish. Okay? So what does that mean for HelloTalk? It means that you need to message many, many people. You have to message many, many people. And if you message many, many people, then you might get a few bites. That's how fishing works. All right? So that's the analogy between how to find a good partner and how to use HelloTalk. Okay? And how to go fishing. That's the analogy there, okay? Hello, you have a question? 你觉得我说太快了吗？有时候我说太快了，可是我觉得有时候我说慢一点。听我，如果你有问题，我可以帮你问我。Okay, let's see. So, send a bunch of messages to a bunch of people every day, many, many times for many months, and then you will find some people that you can have interests in. Okay? But then the other trick, the final tip is you have to be interesting. When you talk to this person, imagine, what am I going to talk to them about today that will be interesting? Prepare. Prepare a little bit. If you want to keep that person interested, okay? Once you catch the fish, now you either have to take that fish home and eat it or put it in a tank and keep it. And if you want to keep it, which means keeping your friendship, then you need to feed the fish. So you have to be interesting. You have to be interesting. Make the environment for the fish a comfortable environment so that the fish wants to stay. Make the partner feel comfortable and make them interested to want to talk to you more. Okay? Okay. Next question. How do native English speakers use the word ish in sentences, please? Well, ish can be used in a formal and informal way. Formally, ish is something we use for colors specifically. So if I say that, what color is it? Oh, well, it's bluish, or it's reddish, or purplish. That means it's got a red tint, or it has a red feeling or look to it, right? So it's bluish, okay? So ish means kind of, okay? So like it's kind of bluish. It's a little bit bluish, right? Or blue, a little bit blue. All right? So informally, we put ish on the end of many words to say that something is so-so, right? So, or for example, somebody could say, "Oh, this car is really fast," and another guy might say, ish. It's fast-ish, which means he thinks it's not really that fast. Okay? Or let me think of some other ish situations. You could use ish even if you're like eating someplace and you think the food is not so good and somebody asks you, what do you think? Ish. It could be used that way, to just be like, so-so. Okay? So ish has a few different ways to use it. Okay, sorry. Let me see if I can find a couple other ish examples. Make sure I'm not leaving anything out. So here's another good one that's popular. Tickle-ish. Are you ticklish? Okay, it means, does tickling affect you a little bit? Kind of. Okay? It's reddish blue. If I say reddish blue, that means it's got a little bit of red and a little bit of blue in it. Okay? It's like a mix. Okay? Or it's stylish. Stylish. It's got some style. It's kind of stylish. Okay? Kind of is, I think, the best way to think of it. Kind of meaning like a little bit. right? So childish, a little bit like a child, kind of like a child, childish, boyish, kind of like a boy, okay? Foolish, kind of like a fool, okay? All right, so there you go. That's how we use ish. That's the formal way to use ish. But like I said, you can use ish on the end of some words just to imply a kind of blah blah blah, right? Kind of something, okay? Okay, next question. And yes, Light says keep searching till you find a better partner. That's good. Yeah. Light says Hello Talk is not how it was before. What do you mean? What you notice is that most men native English speakers look for women to practice with, and women native English speakers learn Korean, and I'm Colombian. Well, okay, to your first point that men look for women to practice with, I think that's probably true. I think that's kind of like a kill two birds with one stone kind of a thing where I think they genuinely do want to find someone to practice with. Many of them, maybe not all of them, but many of them do want someone to practice with. But they look at it like, well, if I'm going to find someone to practice with, it might as well be a girl. you know, I think some of them look at it like that. And then as far as women native English speakers, they learn Korean. I don't know what the most popular language is, but there are plenty of people learning Spanish here. Lots of people learn Spanish here. It's probably the number one language to learn in America. I'm pretty sure it is. So, what I would say, Sebastian, is you need to look more. And remember, it's going to be a long term project. Maybe you won't find somebody right away. It might take you months to find somebody who's quality, right? But that's how it is. You know, finding something good shouldn't be that easy. It's usually not that easy. Okay? Jacob says, just English questions. No, you can ask me other questions too. I might answer them depending on what they are. Yes, eat it. Miriam, I'm answering questions about English or culture or whatever you want to ask me. Paulo, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jacob wants to know, is it necessary to study grammar or can I learn grammar with movies and series? That depends on what your goals are, Jacob. If your goal is just to learn English for fun, you know, for communication with friends, you know, online or travel, then you probably can learn grammar mostly from movies and TV series in that way, right? In a passive rather than active formal way. Okay. But if your goal is to pass the IELTS test or to go study in another country or to use English in any kind of a formal way, then for work or something, then no, you need grammar for that. You need to study grammar for that. So when people ask me, is grammar important? I tell them it depends on what your goals are, right? If you're in school, grammar is important. If you're taking a test like the TOEFL test or the IELTS test, then grammar is very important. If you're at work and you're using English for business, then grammar is important. Okay? But if you're just talking to your friend at the store, then grammar's not that important. Okay? We're taking questions about English or whatever you want to ask me. Quincy, how to find the right study partner in HelloTalk. It takes time and patience and dedication and a lot of sending messages to many, many people. And you have to be interesting. Create a good introduction message that someone will want to reply to. Be interesting, people. Why should someone reply to you if all you do is wave? You showed no effort. If you want them to reply to you, then show some effort. Do something. Write a good introductory message with some sort of common interest that you discuss, right? Something about a common interest. Okay? Hello to all the new people. Ish is ISH. Ish, and it's not a word, it's really just the end of a word, right? It's a suffix. Hello, Tomo. Hello, Jesus. Greetings from Costa Rica. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Jesus. You think Korean is getting popular. That's probably true. That's probably true. Korean is a popular language. It just is. Culture, K-pop and the Korean movies, their movie and music and TV shows have really become worldwide culture. People have been interested in them all over the world now. So because of their cultural influence, now people want to learn the language. Because if you learn the language, you'll understand the show even better. Hello, Babinka. Do native speakers also get grammar wrong a lot? Yes, all the time. If you took 10 native speakers off the street, just randomly, 10 native speakers, and gave them the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, most of them would fail or do very, very poorly. They do very, very poorly. Because once you are out of school, unless your job requires you to pay attention to grammar rules, then you don't think about grammar rules ever again, right? Language is not about rules. The rules are there to give you a sense of how to use. It's like a knife, right? If you want to use a knife, you can just pick it up and try to use it. Or there are books that will show you, well, you could cut something like this, right? Like if you go to cooking school, they teach you how to cut an onion, and there's a specific way to cut an onion so that you get nice, even dice, nice, even squares, right? And so the rules of grammar are like that, right? So what does that mean? It means that you learn the rules so that you can use the knife. So you learn the rules of grammar so that you can speak, right? But once you start cutting, you're not thinking about the rules anymore. You're just doing it, right? So the average native speaker would not do well on a TOEFL test or a grammar test, Yeah. And if you go on YouTube or on Facebook, it will take you 5 minutes to find people using grammar incorrectly. Maybe less than that. 2 minutes. How can you improve comprehensive skills? You're worried about it. Please guide you. Can you define comprehensive skills for me a little bit more, Noah? Tell me what you mean when you say comprehensive skills. Okay? You mean just comprehending what you read? Reading comprehension? Is that what you're talking about, Noah? Hello, Nika. Nika wants to know, how can I improve my English faster and learn grammar more easily? Nika, so how can you improve your English faster? Well, let me start with the second question first. How can you learn grammar more easily? One, I would say you need the right grammar book. Most grammar books are boring. I probably have about 50 grammar books. And of all those grammar books, there are really only about 3 or 4 that I really like. Most of them are boring, terrible, right? So, for example, English Grammar in Use is the most popular one, and it's good. It's really good, but it's also really boring and really dry and a little bit hard to understand sometimes. But the book that I like is called Basic English Grammar, and it is by Saddleback Publishing. Okay, this one here, Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. That book, it does a much better job at making grammar less painful, less boring, less dry. It's quick and easy, and it has cartoons to help you understand things and exercises that are good to practice. So it's a workbook kind of as well. So that's one thing I would say, is get a good grammar book. Then I would also say you can go to this website. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. Go to that website, and that's a website that has lots of games to learn both grammar and vocabulary and prepositions and adverbs and adjectives and phrasal verbs and spelling and pronunciation, lots of things like that. Okay, so you can go to that website, and it's all games. It's all games. Okay. Now, as far as learning English faster, the most important part of learning a language is achieving the ability to think in that language. Once you can use a language in your mind, you can practice it all day in your mind just by using that language in your mind as you live your daily life. Okay? So that's the secret of learning faster, is if you're only practicing 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, that's good, but it's going to take you a long time. But if you learn how to start doing simple things using English in your mind as you do them, right? So brush your teeth tomorrow morning and try to use English when you do it, and think in English when you're brushing your teeth. Or when you make breakfast tomorrow, try to think in English. If you go to the store tomorrow, try to think in English, okay? And if you don't know how to think that thing, then write it down. That's your homework. That's your homework, okay? So learning how to think in the language allows you to start practicing that language for 5, 6, 7 hours every day just by using the language in your mind all the time. When you watch TV, you can think in English. When you go to the store, go to work, drive around, you can think in English. Okay? So that will increase your learning quite quickly because you get to practice a lot more often. Okay? So there you go. Those are my answers. All right. Now, how can reading skills be promoted or improved in IELTS preparation? Mahdi, if you just go onto Google and do a simple search for IELTS reading prep practice, there are a bunch of websites that have IELTS reading preparation practice questions, okay, and tests. Okay, so just do a simple search online and you'll find at least 5 or 6 websites that have reading preparation practice. Okay? And then the only other trick, Bhakti, is just you need to read more. You need to read more. If you want to really be advanced at a language, when you reach the highest level of a language, you should be reading in that language every day as much as you can. Okay? Once you reach a high level of language, I mean, really, reading should happen even at the beginning, but especially once you reach a high level. Hello, Fanny. Hello, Samson. I like your name. I think I've talked to you before here. Hello, Eugene Marie. Good to see you. I'm okay. How are you? Hello, Aya. Is accent important in learning English? That depends on your purpose, but in general, no. Clarity is important. Clarity, R-O. Okay, so what do I mean? I mean, I don't care what accent you have. An Iranian accent, a Chinese accent, a Japanese accent, a French accent, a German accent, a Spanish accent, whatever accent, it does not matter. It does matter if your voice is not understandable. If your accent is too strong that people can't understand your words, that's a problem. So that's what I'm saying. Clarity is what's important, not perfection. You do not have to sound like me. You just have to sound clear. Okay? So that's my belief when you're learning English. Okay? Now, there are other languages where the accent might be a little more important, but as far as English goes, I think it's an international language, and therefore I think I don't care what accent you have. I just care if we can communicate well. And so if you speak with a Spanish accent, but you speak clearly in English with a Spanish accent, then that's fine. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Hello, Giuseppe. How are you, my friend? Where can you find my website? You can go to this link. Go to that link and you'll find my website, and you'll find my YouTube, and you'll find my podcast and my Hello Talk. Everything is right there on that link tree. Okay? Okay, let's see. Accent is your identity. Yeah, I agree with that, Renato. Yeah, that's there's another reason why I don't like people getting rid of their accent when they learn English. Because I agree, accent is part of your identity. And when you get rid of your accent completely, I feel like that's almost like being ashamed of your accent. And that means you're being ashamed of your culture. So in that respect, I don't like the idea of getting rid of your accent completely. There are only a few situations where I think that maybe it's better for you to learn a proper accent from whatever culture that you're, whatever language you're studying, right? There are a few situations where being really formal about the way you learn the language and the accent, maybe, I understand, in a few situations, but for 99% of the population, yeah, I think that it should not really matter what accent you have. It should only matter if it's clear. Okay? You understand English, but you cannot speak. Well, you probably haven't tried very many times. When somebody tells me they can't do something, I ask them, how many times did you try? And they usually tell me something like, I tried 3 times, I tried 5 times, I tried 10 times. If you haven't tried 1,000 times, then you haven't tried. Okay, let me say that again. If you haven't tried 1,000 times, then you haven't tried. Okay? Tell me you've tried after you've done it 1,000 times. If you're still having trouble after 1,000 times, then I will help you, I promise. I'll give you a free lesson. But you need to try first. And trying means failing and succeeding and failing and succeeding. Okay, and hopefully improving as you go. All right? So if you haven't done it 1,000 times, then you haven't done it. Okay? Reading comprehension. Okay. Yeah, reading comprehension. A lot of that is about vocabulary, Noah. If you don't have a strong vocabulary, then it's hard to have great reading comprehension at an advanced level because it uses a lot of advanced vocabulary, right? So, Noah, I'm going to give you a website to go to try to practice some reading, okay? There are 3 sites you can go to. One is called eslfast.com. eslfast.com is a website that has about 2,000 or 3,000 short stories that are very easy. These are for beginner to intermediate level, okay? But even for somebody with an intermediate level, there will be lots of new words to learn, phrasal verbs to learn, ways of writing or grammar or style or sentence structure that you haven't seen before, right? So it's good practice. That's ESL Fast. Then I would say NPR, again, .org. NPR is a website that has a lot of great articles to read that are advanced, pretty advanced articles, and they have a transcript. So the transcript will let you read it so you can look up the words you don't know, right? You can learn about the words you don't know, okay? And then let's see. Finally, TED Talks, also TED.com. TED Talks are also very they're interesting, and they have the transcript so that you can read it. Okay, they're advanced and they're interesting, and they have the transcript so that you can read it and see the vocabulary, okay? All right, so there's some stuff about that. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Please be patient. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments. I try to answer all the questions. Hello, Sammy. Thank you, Roya. How can you improve the speed of your speaking? Elaha, I would say, why do you need to speak faster? The truth is, I think people who speak more slowly speak better almost all the time. Almost every great speaker I can think of doesn't speak really fast. Okay, so there's a misconception that some people think that fast speech means good speech, but language has no speed. Okay, and sometimes you forget that the faster you speak, the less meaning each word has. So when I speak, I think about my words like notes in music. Okay? And the way I speak, I have a rhythm to the way I speak. I pause. I make certain words longer or more accented, right? I do that on purpose. I'm making music with my language. Okay, that's what I'm doing, is I'm thinking musically about the way I speak to try to make it sound more interesting, okay, and more inviting. Okay, great music, when you hear it, it invites you. It makes you want to hear more, right? So great language is the same way. When you hear it, it makes you want to hear more. Okay? But speaking fast is not the answer. Speaking well is the answer. Okay? So try not to speak quickly. Try to speak passionately. Do that. Okay? And passion just means that you speak with true, honest emotion. Okay? Can Chinese open it? Nancy, if you mean NPR, I don't know if you can watch NPR or TED Talks. I think you can watch TED Talks. I'm not sure. Nancy. ESL Fast, you should be able to open. Yeah, I believe. Do I have any tips about writing? Yes. Writing takes practice, Mahdi. So to practice your writing, again, it depends on what your purpose is in writing. But if you're just trying to improve your writing in general, one, write a diary every day. Okay, a diary is a great way to improve your writing. Two, give yourself exercises, different writing exercises to do every day. Okay, the secret of being good at something, every great artist is prolific. Okay, prolific means you do a lot of that thing. You make a lot of that thing. So if you're a great writer, then you have to write a lot. If you're a great singer, then you need to sing a lot. If you're a great painter, then you need to paint a lot. So if you want to be a great writer, then you need to write a lot. So give yourself a bunch of exercises. You can use AI for this. Use an AI tool and just tell it, give me some writing exercises to practice, right? Some ideas about writing exercises. You can suggest something more specific, like give me a history writing assignment. Give me a current events writing assignment. Give me a short story writing assignment. Tell AI to do that, and it will. It will say, okay, write a short story of 500 words or 1,000 words or less about this. Okay, so use AI to help you improve your writing. It can help you a lot. Okay, and thank you, Zenden, for showing my YouTube and my links. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts, everyone. Nancy, thank you. Miss G, I'm answering questions about English or life, whatever. You have problems with phrasal verbs, Miss G? Well, there is, on this website here, games2learnenglish.com. On that website, there is a game on there for learning phrasal verbs. I remember there's one game on there for learning phrasal verbs, so you can start with that. But there are also some good websites that have lists of the most common phrasal verbs. Let me find one here. I had one here just recently. Here it is. This one. This website here has a good list of about 200 phrasal verbs. Okay, 200 of them. And what I would suggest is to try to learn them in groups, right? So, for example, break. Break has break up, has break down. To break up, like boyfriend, girlfriend, you break up, right? Or break down, meaning to your car broke down. I was late to work today. Why? Because my car broke down. Means it was broken, right? So you're using both forms of break, right? You're trying to find all the different, for example, get in, get on, get through, get up, get over, right? Those all have different meanings, right? So here's this website for 200 phrasal verbs, okay? That'll get you started, okay? Okay. And then as far as you can't remember them, you need to use them more. You need to use them more. So pick a handful of them and try to find the most useful ones, right? Find the most useful ones, start with those, and try using them more often. Okay? Belen, really, I was impressed with both of your kids' English. You know, Adriana's English is really good. She's just shy. And Marius is not bad. He understands more than he can speak, but you can tell he understands, which is good. Saba wants advice on how to improve her writing. What's wrong with your writing, Saba? Tell me what's wrong with your writing, and then I can tell you what to do. What can you do to improve listening? You can go to esl-lab.com. esl-lab.com. That's another website. This one is for listening practice mostly. Okay? Prolific. Yeah, prolific means to make or do a lot of something. Right? So a prolific musician makes a lot of music. They write a lot of music. Right? Or they play a lot of performances. They're prolific about their performances. Right? The topic is English, grammar, vocabulary, writing, reading, listening, speaking, TOEFL, IELTS, whatever. How can you improve your grammar? Well, you need a good grammar book and you need a lot of practice. Grammar is like the bear in the woods. You got to kill it. So you have to do a lot. Okay? You can't just tickle the bear. You have to kill the bear. So you need to get a lot of grammar. Here's what I would suggest. Get one good grammar book to learn the rules. Okay? But then get 10 grammar workbooks, different workbooks, and then go through all of them, okay? The workbooks are the secret because you need a lot of practice doing the grammar exercises to be able to remember them and understand them well, okay? So if you have one book, you can make 3 copies of it and then do the book 3 times. Do those exercises as many times as you can. You need to understand that your idea of practice is just insufficient. Okay? Your idea of practice is too small. If I told you I want to be a great piano player, I want to be a great pianist, but I only want to practice for 30 minutes or 1 hour every day, how long will it take me to be a great pianist if I only practice piano 1 hour every day? It will take me forever. Okay, it'll take me the rest of my life. Okay, but if I practice many hours every day, when I find ways to make music part of my daily life, then I can practice all the time. Then you'll get a lot better. So if you want to be good at something, then you need to do it a lot more than you think you do. So stop lying to yourself. When you say you're not good at something, part of the reason you're not good at something is because you have not done that thing enough. That's it. That's the problem. The problem is not that you don't know it. It's that you have not had enough practice to know it. Okay? So if you really want to improve your grammar, practice more. Have more exercises to do. Get more workbooks. Okay? Jane says, so what kind of speakers have a better ability of English, such as long sentences or good pronunciation? Jane, well, there are all kinds of good speakers of every language, right? Good speakers come in all shapes and sizes and forms and careers. There are politicians who are great speakers. There are teachers who are great speakers. There are actors who are great speakers. There are salespeople who are great speakers, right? So there are lots of different kinds of people who are great speakers, and speaking can, you know, be a talent that happens. That it doesn't have anything to do with where you're from or what you do. It's just it's a skill that you learned or you were born with, or both. Okay, so. And then, Jane, it's a skill that you practiced. So every great speaker has spoken a lot. Okay? Every great speaker has had an opportunity to speak a lot. Okay? And then good pronunciation. When you learn to play the piano, your piano teacher does not tell you that you should now go listen to everyone in the world who plays piano. No. But that's what you do with language. You listen to everybody, and you think that that's what you're supposed to do. I disagree. If you want to learn to play the piano, they tell you to listen to the best players. They don't tell you to listen to your neighbor who can play 2 songs. No, they tell you to listen to brilliant musicians, brilliant players. And then that's your model, is those brilliant players. So you need to do the same thing with language. Find the brilliant players of language. Find the people who are really good at speaking and listen to them. Okay? TED Talks, again, Jane, would be a good one for you to go check out. TED Talks. You're welcome, Miss G. You're welcome, Beatrice. One of the best apps for learning English, Hamza. I don't really know, Duolingo and those apps, those are good. There are lots of them, but to be honest with you, I'm not that familiar with many of the apps for learning English. So I'm not really that sure. But I do like gamestolonerenglish.com. It's a website, and you can use that on your phone. Hello, Tomas. How do I say the word braved? He braved the storm. Braved. Braved. Do I have any suggestions for shadowing? Roya, my suggestion for shadowing is choose a good shadow. That's really the only thing to pay attention to, is find a great model. And think about it like acting. Okay? You're trying to pay attention to what makes them great at what they do, what makes them great communicators, what makes them great at teaching, what makes them great at speaking, what makes them great at keeping the audience attention, right? Pay attention to those things. That's like shadowing an actor, right? When you watch an actor and you try to think about what makes them great. What is it that's so great about them? Is it their body language? Is it their pronunciation? Is it their speed? Is it their passion? Think about what makes them great, okay? That's all right, Dolan. I know what you mean. Hello, Milad. Hello, Ali. How can you pronounce probably and comfortable? So probably there's only one pronunciation, probably. Okay, comfortable, there are 2 ways that people will say it, okay? Comfortable and comfortable, okay? They're both fine, okay? One is comfortable, it's 3 syllables, and the other one is comfortable, 4 syllables, comfortable, okay? So they're both fine. All right? But probably is just probably. Okay? Sammy, the grammar book that I like is called Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. How to improve your speaking in a non-native environment. Judah Mio, the secret is that all language starts in the mind. All language starts here, in your mind. So if you want more practice using a language, practice in your mind more. And so when you think about practicing a language, you should think about 8 different areas of language. Reading, how are you practicing your reading? Writing, how are you practicing your writing? Listening, how are you practicing your listening? Speaking, how are you practicing your speaking? Thinking, how are you practicing your thinking in English? Grammar, how are you practicing your grammar? Vocabulary, how are you practicing your vocabulary? And accent, how are you practicing your accent or pronunciation? Okay? So those are the 8 areas that you need to focus on. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Okay? So, for you, you live in China. I get that. But I live in America. Okay? 可是每天我可以想中文. Okay? 如果我用我的中文的脑，我可以常常练习想中文 ，OK？ 你也可以练习想英文 ，OK？ All right. You speak fluent English, but you commit a lot of grammatical errors. What should I do? Well, one, does it matter? Is it a big problem? 2, can you find your grammar errors? Do you know what grammar errors you usually make? Okay, most people, when they make grammar errors, there are usually about 3 to 5 major rules that they break, right? There are only 3 or 5 big ones, okay? They might make 100 different grammar mistakes, but 95 of those don't happen very often. They're very rare. It's those 5 big ones that they have to worry about. So you have to find those 3 to 5 big problems that you have, and then focus on creating a little program for yourself to practice those 3 problems. Okay? You're welcome, Saba. Hello, hello, hello. And please be patient. I'm trying to keep up with all the comments. There's still a lot of comments to read. You're welcome, everyone. Noah, I told you about reading comprehension. You need to practice more. There's really only one good way to improve your reading comprehension. You need more practice. Okay? Hello, Faraz. Hello, Amira. How can you identify a fake native? That's a hard one, Inessa. There are a lot of people on this app who pretend to be American or British or Canadian. I don't know why. I think that many times they're just trying to hit on girls, and they think they'll have more luck if they pretend to be a foreigner. Which is sad and pathetic, guys. Kind of really sad and really pathetic. But Inessa, if you engage in a serious conversation with them, if you notice many grammar mistakes, especially inconsistent grammar mistakes, that's probably not a native. Now, it's hard, though, because the truth is you might find somebody who is a native who just really does not use English well when they type, okay? Because there's so many people today who they use... when they type, they'll, instead of saying Cuseeyu. They say C, the letter C, and the letter U, right? Things like that. So it makes it a little hard to know whose grammar is legitimately native and who is just faking, right? But I would say if you notice many problems, one, it's probably a fake person. Two, if it's not a fake person, let's say it's just a native who makes a lot of mistakes, find another native. If their language sucks, then why would you want to waste your time talking to them anyway? You know? Listening is really hard. It can be, but you have to try to find people who speak well. If you can understand me pretty well, then that means that your listening is not the only problem. The problem is also what you're listening to. You're not listening to the right things. If you understand me pretty well, then that means you can understand, but you have to find people who speak well. That's how language starts, okay? There are many people who speak Chinese that I can't understand the way they speak. They speak too fast. They use, maybe an accent I can't understand. There's local language, local ways of saying things that I don't understand. So, yeah. Okay? And again, Sammy, I've already written it down a bunch of times. Basic English grammar. Basic English grammar. Basic English grammar. That's the name of the book. It's by a company called Saddleback Publishing. Saddleback Publishing. Saddleback Publishing. Okay? Sawar, you want to go to the university, to USA for studying in the university. Okay, great. Well, good luck to you. I can't help you with that, though. I don't know anything about it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to write the book one more time. Basic English Grammar. Saddleback Publishing. I really need them to give me a deal for promoting their book. Okay. Wow. Please be patient. There are still many comments to catch up to. Yes, many people are preparing for the IELTS. Yeah, that's normal. You can speak well, but you can't write well. Again, Sammy, you need to practice writing more. Writing well is about practicing more and about reading. Read, because find someone who's a great writer and then read, right? Every writer has a style, just like every musician has a style. So you could listen to 100 different guitar players, but there will be 5 of them that you love because of their style. Find writers that are like that. Find a writer that when you read their writing, you think, oh, I like this. This is good. I understand this. And he writes well. And then read what they write to give yourself an idea of how to use the language. And then you can practice writing. Okay? You have a problem about responding in public, but always you used to understand what was asked. So what are you supposed to do? Ragi, or Ragi, I'm not sure how to say it. So can you tell me a little bit more? So you're in class and someone asks you a question, but you just don't know what to say? Or do you get nervous and scared? Or do you just not know how to use the language, or both? And can you tell me, where is this happening in public? Is this in school, or is this in work? Is this in, at the store? Hello to all the new people. Hello, Jean-Franc. Good to see you, my friend. I do not know NBA. I'm not a big fan. Should you come to study in America in 2025? I don't know. I don't know. Jean-Franc, give me a few minutes to try to finish answering these questions. Is it a good way to practice spoken English by talking to an AI and a non? Yes, that's definitely good. It's not as good as speaking with a real person, but in some ways it's better. Okay, in some ways it's better because AI is always there. It never gets tired. It doesn't get bored with you, right? Or annoyed by you. So you can use it as a practice tool all the time. You cannot do that with any native speaker, right? So the accessibility that you have with AI makes it an exceptionally good practice tool for writing, reading, listening, and speaking, okay? Beatrice wants to know, do I think there are people who find it easier to learn languages, or it's only about being constant and practicing a lot, or both? I think both. There are some people who I do think have natural ability or talents to learn languages. I think being a musician gave me a huge advantage in learning Chinese. When I was 16, I learned German, but I didn't learn it well at all because I wasn't a good musician yet. I didn't know about how to be a good musician. And so when I learned how to be a good musician, I learned all these different skills and rules and concepts and ideas about practice, about communication, about expression, about dynamics, about control, about all those things. And I applied those things to language learning now, and I think it's a huge advantage. So I think musicians have a certain advantage because they're also better listeners, musicians are. But there's also a lot of it has to do with being consistent, constant, right? And practicing a lot. But not just a lot, quality practice. Quantity is not the only thing that matters. Quality is what matters. So 1 hour of great practice is better than 4 hours of bad practice. Okay? And then the other secret, Beatrice, is when you're an adult and you want to learn new things, we don't have time to study the way we did when we were kids. So you have to find ways to learn in your daily life. You have to find ways to practice in your daily life. You have to find creative ways to be able to practice the skills that you want to practice during your daily life. Make learning part of your daily life, and it will happen much better for you. Okay? It will not be so difficult. Okay? Thank you, Sakura. Jean-Franc, yeah, give me another minute. Hold on. Abdelhay, if you want to, if you forget everything, you just need to do it more. It's really that simple. Learn how to think in English, practice thinking in English more, then you won't forget when you need to speak, okay? I learned Chinese mostly myself. Mostly. AI is really good, but sometimes you want to boost your confidence with real people. Yeah, of course. AI is still just not real, right? It's a really amazing practice tool, but you also need to learn how to talk to real people, okay? Method of language learning is the same. If you mean between music learning and language learning, yeah, that's why musicians have an advantage, because the method of how you practice to learn an instrument is very easily applied to learning a language. there are so many parallels that match. Okay? Okay. All right, let's see. Let me talk to Jean-Franc.
How are you?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Hello, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Many things have happened recently.
Yeah?
I I left my job. I left my job. That I was working in customer service. Well, I'm still working in customer service, but it's not over the phone anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And what else can I say? Everything is fine. It's fine. I'm working in. I'm working again as a technician fixing telephones.
Okay. Well, that's a good skill to
All right,
have,
let
man.
me let me. I would like to introduce a friend that I met today.
Hello.
He wants to learn English.
Ah, hello. Mucho gusto. Yo soy Mark.
He wants. He asked me. I mean, because I'm not a teacher, he asked me like, what is the best way to learn English? But I don't know. I was telling him what is the way that I learn, because there are many different ways to learn. But
I'll tell you what, Jean-Franc, I'll tell you what you should do.
Your advice would be to tell him to learn English.
I'll tell you what my advice would be is you should teach him English.
I should teach him English?
Yes, yeah. He can pay you. He can pay you, and then this is good for both of you because teaching is really good practice. Teaching is amazing practice, right? So it's an opportunity for you because you get to practice your English, and it's an opportunity for him because you speak Spanish.
What if okay.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that is, for me also, that is a good way to learn more because, I mean, if he asks me something that I don't know.
That's right. Then you have to think about it. That's right.
I have to look it up.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. But here's the thing. What if I made a mistake and I'm teaching him?
You don't have to.
That I'm making.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a perfect teacher to be a great teacher. Okay? A great teacher just knows more than you do and wants to help you. That's all a great teacher is. Okay? Great. Here's what I say, Jean-Franc. Teachers are not gods. Teachers are guides. Okay, teachers are not gods. Teachers are guides. A guide doesn't know everything. A guide just knows more than you do. That's all a guide is. God knows everything. But guides, they don't know everything. They just know more than you do. They can help you because they know more than you. That's what a teacher is. So you don't have to be everything. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know more than he does, and you have to help him along the way. That's all a good teacher is, a great teacher is. Okay? When I started teaching, I was 18 years old when I started teaching music, and I didn't know anything, but I had.
But obviously that it was easier for you because you were born with the language, right?
Well, I was born with the language of English to speak, but I wasn't born with the ability to play drums. No, I had to learn that. So I was teaching drums. So I had to explain about drums. People would ask me questions about it. Well, how do you do this? And how do you do this? And I had to go home and think about them and find the answers and figure it out and improve myself so I could teach people other things, right? So the same thing is true for you. You don't have to be a perfect teacher to be a great teacher, okay? And he needs a teacher. You need more work. This could be a great side job for you. This could be a great side job for you. Maybe you could find some people who want to pay you a little bit to be an English tutor on the side. and it's good because you speak Spanish, and you have an advantage because you're a Spanish speaker who learned English. You understand the problems that other Spanish speakers have learning English. Right?
Oh, that's true.
Same thing
Definitely
is
true.
that's the reason why I have a better time with Chinese students, because I speak Chinese, so I know why they make the mistakes they make. I understand both languages, so I understand why they make those mistakes. That's a huge advantage. Okay? So, I definitely think that this is an opportunity for you. You met him, he can come and pay you. So you'll have to start with a lower rate because you're a new teacher, right? So you can't get paid the same money that I get paid. But you can start and he can pay you a little bit, and it's cheap for him, and it's a great opportunity for you for practice. I think that's what you should do. Make a little money on the side
Thank you.
and practice your English.
Thank you for the advice.
You're welcome.
Before I go, before you go, how was your trip? Like
It was amazing.
to Spain?
It was really amazing. It was really, really amazing. I spent a week in Germany with my friend Gunter, and that was awesome to spend time with him and his family. It was amazing. And then I spent 2 weeks in Madrid with Belen and her family, and that was amazing too. There's Belen there. You know, they're like my favorite. They're like my European family now. You know, and then I spent 2 weeks in Taiwan, and I saw all my old friends and my old boss, and you know, ate all my old favorite foods. It was great. Yeah, I gained a lot of weight because I ate so much food while I was on my vacation, but it's a vacation.
Did you get to practice some Spanish?
I did a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I was lucky because Gunter was with me when I was in Spain, and Gunter speaks Spanish really well. So he was like, he made everything much easier because he could speak Spanish all the time. So I didn't have to worry too much. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was an amazing trip. I wish I could have stayed longer.
How long were you stay there in Madrid?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
1 week in Germany, 2 weeks in Madrid, and about 2 weeks in Taiwan.
Taiwan, my God. But was all in the same trip. I mean,
Yeah, in the same
after you
trip.
were in
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Germany,
My God,
then
but I
Madrid,
think
then Taiwan.
from Taiwan to Spain, is it too far? From
It's
Taiwan
very,
to-
yeah, it's, of course it's far. It's like 5,000 kilometers, I think, something like that. Yeah, it's far. Yeah, of course. But it's even farther from here. Where I live is the other side of the earth from Taiwan. Like, Taiwan is almost exactly on the other side of the earth from where I live. So it's 12 hours different time. And that's as far as you can go. So I've made that trip before. I used to live in Taiwan. I lived there for 4 years. So
4 years.
Yeah.
Did you live for? My goodness.
yeah. So that's why I wanted to go back. I missed my friends.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I wish someday I can travel to many countries and learn many different languages.
Start with teaching this guy, and that'll improve your English more. And the more you improve your English, the more opportunities open up for you. You know?
Yeah, of course, I'll do it.
You know, the other thing that I think
And-
you'd be really good at, Jean-Franc, I think you'd also be a very good tour guide.
Oh yeah, tour guide. That would be a great idea.
I
mean,
think that you'd be
working as
really
a
good
tour
at that.
guide,
Yeah, that's good practice for your English. You need good English for that. Most of the people who are tourists will be wanting to speak English, okay? And then you need to study about some topic, right? So whatever city you live in, what are the things that are people are seeing? What are the tourist attractions, right? what historical places are there, what landmarks are there, what famous food is there, all those kinds of things. And this is another one of those jobs that you don't have to wait to start doing this. You could go to, like, for example, if you're in Rome, okay, I've never been to Rome, but I know people who have gone. And if you go to Rome, there are people who will just come up to you and say, would you like a tour of this or this or this? You know, and they'll take you around and show you, right? When I was at the Prado Museum in Madrid, I was waiting in line, and there were all these guides who were offering to, you know, give you a tour of the museum. You pay them a little bit of money, and they take you on a tour and explain everything in English for you, right? You don't have to wait to do that. Go find, you know, a place in your city where all the tourists are, and then create a tour in your mind. Create a tour of, like, hey, I've got this tour that would be really great. You should see this, and you should see this, and you should see this, and I can take you there and show you everything and tell you about everything. And, you know, say, and
You know, that would be a great idea. Every time I see a tourist guy in my country, in my city, I always like wanted to talk to them. I don't know why.
You should.
I think it's something natural, but I want to talk to them like in a friendly way and ask them if they're looking for a specific place for me to help them. You know?
Yeah.
I always every time when I'm in the bus. In the metro, there is something we call metro to go to different places. And I've seen tourist guys, but I mean, it would be weird if I'm like, oh, my name is Gianfran, where are you going? Like, you know, because I'm not officially a tourist guide. But I always like want to talk to them.
What you can do is you can explain your situation to them. Tell them exactly who you are and what you're doing. My name is Jean-Frank. I want to be a tour guide. I'm not a tour guide yet, but I want to be one, and I want to practice my English. So I am giving tours. If you want, I will be your tour guide, and I'll do it for very cheap because I'm new at this, and I'm just trying to practice and learn how. So you can tell them who you are, and you can tell them, you know, hey, I'm new at this. Would you be willing to give me an opportunity? And you can just start cheap. Start really cheap, you know, like $10, you know. $10 and I'll for 1 hour, and I'll tell you about this place. What's that?
And I'll give you a commission.
Yeah, you can keep the commission. Don't worry about that. No. But I'm just trying to say, I think this would be a good idea for you, because you have to have a good personality to be a good tour guide. You have to have a good personality to be a good teacher also, right? You have to be
friendly, funny.
Affable. Affable is the word. Affable. A-F-F-A-B-L-E. Affable. It means likable.
Affable.
Yeah, affable means likable. You have to be likable, okay? Friendly. And yeah, so to be a tour guide, you should be affable. To be a teacher, you should be pretty affable too. You know, most of the time.
Can you write that word, please?
Sure.
Affable.
Yeah. Whoops.
Mark.
Yes.
Affable.
Yeah.
Okay.
A-F-F-A-B-L-E. Affable.
Mark, I gotta go.
Okay.
I have to keep working.
Yeah.
But it really was a pleasure to talk to you. I feel so great every time I talk to you.
Always good to talk to you too, my friend. All right. Take care, my friend. Good luck at your new job, and good luck teaching. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. I'll see you next time, man.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I think that to be a good tour guide, you know, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's one of those things like being a good musician. Can you go to school for it? Sure you can. But the majority of famous musicians didn't go to school for it. They just did it. They learned how to do it and they just did it, right? I think being a tour guide is kind of that way. If you really want to be a tour guide, go do it. Go do it. Go think about where the tourists are in your city and make yourself a little brochure that you can give them that shows that you're serious, that you are trying to be a tour guide. Explain your situation clearly to them. Tell them, hey, I'm new. I want to practice my English and I want to practice being a tour guide. So my price is half the price of the real tour guides because of that, something like that. You can even work out a deal with a local restaurant. If there's a local food that's famous in your city, you can say, well, I know the best one, like maybe it's empanadas, right? So maybe the best empanada restaurant in your city. Go to them, once you get this going, if you have business, if you have customers, tourists, you can make a deal with the restaurant and say, hey, if I bring people here and tell them it's the best empanadas, can I get one free meal a week? I don't know. Work out something. Can I get 10%, of what they pay or 5% of what they pay or something, That way there's a little deal going on there, right? To be a good tour guide, I think you should just go do it. Stop waiting. Okay. Wie geht es? Geht es gut? Kommen Sie aus Deutschland? No, ich kommt aus USA. Okay. Like a Q travel blogger. Planet One? No, I don't know him. Yeah, I think he's got a very affable character and he's a friendly guy. He has a very kind spirit. So I think that that's the kind of person that you want to be your tour guide. Somebody like that, Yeah. Hello, Hannah. Guten Tag. Sala, this question. I have eaten my breakfast today. I ate my breakfast today. One is past perfect and one is past. They essentially are not different. They tell the same information, but from a slightly different perspective. That's all. So the reason why you're confused, Sala, is because they do transmit the same basic information. I finished my breakfast. It's done. I did it already. But one tells it from a standpoint of one time period in the past. I ate my breakfast today. That's one time period in the past. I have eaten my breakfast today. Have eaten means from the past all the way until now. So both of them tell you that you finished your breakfast, but one of them tells you finished your breakfast from a standpoint of only one time period, and the other one tells you from a standpoint of both past and present. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope. With past perfect, you don't need to mention when. That's true. But in his example, he did. So the the problem still stands. It's a common question that I get asked: what's the difference between past perfect and past tense in general, simple past? And it's confusing because, like I said, they do both tell the same basic information, but they tell it from two different standpoints. And I always like to think about tenses in English like a timeline, right? And I imagine that here's the present here, and then the future is here, and then the past is here. And when I can imagine those, then it helps me to understand what all the different tenses do. Okay? Hello, Sabrina from Austria. Hello, Roya. Okay, wow, it's already been an hour and 40 minutes? Jeez, that went fast. Ask me your questions if you have questions. I may not be here too much longer. Well, tell them I said hello as well, Belen. Tell them I said Merry Christmas. Okay, what was the other question? I'm sorry. Past continuous. Past continuous is the same thing as, well, it means that you started something in the past, but it's still continuing up until now. That's the rule. The rule is that that's what you're trying to describe, is something that you started in the past and goes up until now. Past perfect or past continuous. Okay? How does our mind work? Well, everybody's got a different mind, and everybody's mind works differently. Why is present perfect the most difficult grammar to learn? Azada, let me blow your mind. I'm going to make all the perfect tenses a little bit easier for you, okay? Change the word perfect and don't say perfect anymore when you use those tenses. Change the word perfect to completed, okay? Past completed, future completed, right? So don't say perfect, say completed. Why? Because perfect, you think perfect means 100% without flaw, right? Something perfect has no flaws. It's perfect, right? It's 100%. But that's not the meaning of perfect in grammar. The meaning of perfect in grammar comes from the Latin word perfectum, which means completed. Okay? So just change the word perfect to completed, and now it will make a lot more sense. So past completed means something that was started in the past and completed up until now, right? We're talking about something that was finished, right? Yeah, that's a good trick, right? It's one of the things about grammar that should be fixed. There's no reason to talk about perfect anymore in grammar. That's a 2,000-year-old word. Oh, okay. How to use complex sentences when you talk in front of people? Well, why do you need to use complex sentences? To be or not to be? That is the question. That's simple, but deep. So the words you use don't need to be complicated. The sentence structure doesn't need to be complicated. The content needs to be complex and deep. Okay? The ideas, but deep ideas can be explained with simple thoughts. Okay? Just do it. Carpe diem. Seize the day, right? Those are simple words to use to explain a complex thought. Okay? That's why we like idioms, because idioms are little simple stories that tell a bigger story, that explain something more, right? They're efficient. If you want my links to follow me, here is my YouTube. I'm sorry, no, here's my website. And here is my YouTube. And here is my link tree that has all of my links on it. Okay? Ali, how have you been? Maged says how to speak like a native English speaker. Well, Maged, not every native speaker speaks well. So you don't want to speak like a native speaker. You want to speak like a native speaker who speaks well. You have to find people who speak well and follow what they do. What's the difference between will and would? So will and would. Would is the past tense of will. Okay, so would is often used in hypothetical ideas. Would you rather this? Would you rather this? Right? That's a game. Would you rather? Right? Would you rather jump off a building or burn alive in a house? You know, it's a weird game that you play. Would you rather eat pizza or ice cream? Would you rather? Okay, it's hypothetical, right? Or polite. So it can be hypothetical or it can be polite. Would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? Would you like to go to dinner sometime? Would is polite in that case, okay? On the other hand, will is more straightforward, okay? So it has a definite future action or strong assertion, right? So I will do it tomorrow. That's definite. I will be better next year. That's definite. That's an assertion. To assert something means to say something directly and strongly. This is what I'm going to do, right? So those are the big differences. And will is generally used as a modal verb. I hate when they talk about English like this. But it can also be used as a noun. And would is used as a modal verb, but it's also the past tense of will. So the biggest difference is would can be used for hypotheticals, and would is more polite. Okay, will is used for more direct or more assertive things, straightforward, definite things. Okay? You're an IELTS student, that's why. See, that's why the IELTS and the TOEFL are just terrible tests, because they make you think that language is about using complex language, and it's not. It's not what being fluent or being good at language is about. Pikachu, if you want to learn that kind of language, to be honest with you, that kind of language is formal academic educational language, and it doesn't really exist in the real world. So the only good way to practice that kind of language is to go do those types of exercises. So go online, do a search for IELTS, writing, reading, listening, and speaking practice websites. And there will be many of them. Okay. Some of them you may have to pay for, some of them are free, and you can go and do that kind of practice a lot. Okay. And I would also say use AI. Tell AI that you want to improve your sentence structure, and tell it that you want to have conversations to practice your English, and tell it to give you suggestions on how to improve your sentence structure and your vocabulary. Okay? All right. I think I'm just about done here, guys. Will I come tomorrow? Maybe. How can you understand if he or she is a good native speaker? I don't think that's that hard, Pikachu. Good speakers are people that you want to listen to. When you hear them speak, you want to listen to them, right? So find someone that you want to listen to. Okay? Yes, I put on weight, D. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that very much. How much is stress in words and sentences important in English language? I think stress is pretty important. Stress makes language more interesting. But stress is very personalized. Okay, so the way I stress words will be different than the way that other people might stress words. For example, Christopher Walken is a famous American actor, and half of the reason why he's famous is because of the way he speaks. He puts the stress on words in different places than most people do. So that means his language sounds very unique when he speaks. Okay? And that gave him an advantage because his language sounded different and interesting, right? So half the reason he's famous is because of the interesting way he stresses his words. Dija, what's wrong with your speaking skills? I have what's left of my coffee, and then I'm going to be done here. What kind of English certificate is effective? IELTS? Daisuke, IELTS or the TOEFL are both fine. TOEIC is for Chinese, right? TOEFL, I think you mean. So Daisuke, I would say the IELTS and the TOEFL are both roughly the same. Okay, they're both difficult. They both will challenge you at a very high advanced level of English grammar and language, okay, and vocabulary, okay? So I kind of think 6 of one, half dozen of another, which means they're both about the same, okay? When will I play some drums? Not today, Eugene Marie, not today. I haven't done a live stream with music in a long time. I'm not sure I'm going to do those anymore. We'll see. I have to think about it. Thank you, Roya. Okay. For all those people who are mentioning my hairline or my weight, can I ask you a question? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? I don't understand people who do that kind of thing. You know? It's weird. It's weird. Let's see. And Roro wants to know, why don't I put gel in my hair to look more cooler? Roro, there's only one way to look cool. Looking cool is about not giving a beep about what anybody else thinks. Okay? Looking cool, being cool, means I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think I'm fat. I don't care if you don't like my hair. I have to wear headphones anyway, so it doesn't really matter what my hair looks like. But I just think it's strange that, you know, why would you talk to somebody you don't know and talk about the way they look? It's just very weird. You shouldn't do that. I don't care what culture you're from. If you're a human being, mind your own business when it comes to what people look like. That's not your place. That's not your place. Okay? Worry about how you look. How long do you usually prepare for English exams? You're so stressed. It takes a while sometimes. It takes a while sometimes. You know, I think depends on the exam. If you're talking about the IELTS and the TOEFL, I think 6 months to a year. Okay? Danielle, you need to follow me more and watch my YouTube channel, and you'll find some tips about how you can improve your English, okay? You found some interesting music requests for me? Okay, well, send them to me, Eugene Marie. Maybe I'll do them sometime. Amru, I don't have a schedule right now. I will hopefully have one soon. Okay? You just think that my hair looking with gel will make it more cool. Okay, Roro. Well, I used to do that. I did used to do that. And here's the other thing about my looks, everybody, is, you know, I actually kind of enjoy the ability to change your looks. So for my entire life, I've changed my hair a lot. A lot. I've changed my hair. I used to have very long hair down to here. My hair was very long. I used to have short hair that was spiky, very high and spiky, and I dyed it red, and I dyed it black and blue, and I've had my hair parted in the front like business style. I've had my hair parted in the middle, parted on the left, parted on the right. I like to change my hair, and I used to grow my beard too. Sometimes I would have a goatee, sometimes I have a full beard, sometimes I have just a line down here. Life is change. Life is change. And it's good to look in the mirror sometimes and notice that you're different, or to make yourself different. Okay? Now, as far as gaining weight, yeah, it happens sometimes, you know. Wait till you're my age and you'll see how hard it is to lose weight. But I just came back from my vacation, and on my vacation for about 5 weeks, I ate every day the most delicious foods in the world. And so, yeah, I gained some weight. So what about it? I'm angry today? I'm not angry. Do I look angry? I'm not angry. My YouTube channel. It's right there. Yeah, confidence is about being cool, right? So, I make no mistake. Make sure you understand that when people say something like you've gained weight or you're losing your hair or we don't like your hair today or something, I don't want you to think that that hurts me. It doesn't hurt me. It just makes me really confused because I don't understand any person that would point out something physical that you don't like about another person that you don't know. Right? So if my brother says, hey, you gained a little bit of weight, then I'll be like, yeah, I did. You know, but if a perfect stranger says something like that to me, then I'm just confused because I can't understand how your brain works. So it's not that I'm angry. I just am confused. I'm confused. What makes you think that it's okay to talk about the way someone else looks that you don't know? That's what I'm, it's just confusing to me. So I'm not mad. I just don't understand. Okay. And it's time for me to go. Do you think it's helpful to have phone calls with AI? Yes. It's definitely helpful to use AI any way you can. Okay? Thank you, Bellin. That's right. You're free to do what you want. That's right. Yeah, Daisuke's got that's internet brain. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. People act differently when they're on the internet like this, right? If you saw me in person, if I was a teacher in a classroom and you're in my class, you would never say those things to me. You would never have the balls to say those things, right? Or if I were in person in your country, you would never say those things to me in person. But yeah, on the internet brain, people treat people. That's kind of why I'm pointing it out, because I think it's a little dehumanizing when you treat people that way, when you talk with internet brain. It's dehumanizing sometimes. So that's a perfect way to describe it, Daisuke. Internet brain. Yeah, they just say what they want. All right. It's been 2 hours. That's enough time. I went 30 minutes longer than I should. I don't want anybody to think that I'm mad. I'm not mad. I just don't understand. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following. This live stream will be on my YouTube. Right after this is done, it will be published. So if you want to watch this again and watch me get mad, then you can. So go to my YouTube channel and you can watch this stream again. And there are many, many other videos there that you can watch and get lots of tips about learning English. Most of my live streams are just general question and answer live streams where hundreds and hundreds of people ask me thousands and thousands of questions, and I have to answer all of them. So whatever questions you have, I've probably answered them already on one of my streams. Just go watch my streams, and you'll hear lots of questions that you've already had that I answer. Okay? Okay, thank you, Daisuke. Thank you, Honey. Thank you, everybody. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.